Hey man, y'all got beer still?
You've seen the stories. Now, writer Mike Baron and artist Todd Mulrooney are bringing the quintessential Florida man, Gary Duba, to life. Gary's just a regular guy living in a trailer with his girlfriend Crystal, but he's got dreams, big dreams. He just invented house suspenders that will secure any home to the ground in rough weather. And now he's going to show them off on Piranha Pool, the TV show where venture capitalists and entrepreneurs pony up if they like your pitch. But when his gal Crystal gains notoriety as an infamous amateur wrestler, she quickly advances to the pro circuit where her greatest challenge is an angry Australian grappler. Follow Gary and Crystal on their extraordinary journey from rags to riches. To rags, to riches, to rags, to riches. All while dealing with shady lawyers, toilet snakes, wild gators, cheating hearts, feral hogs, and problem shoppers. Back Florida Man today and reserve your very own copy of the Florida Man graphic novel. We're bringing back funny books, y'all.
There you go, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome. And we are joined here live by the men themselves, the illustrious Mike Baron and the fantastic Florida man, Todd Mulrooney. How you guys going?
Good. Thank you for that introduction.
Spice it up a little bit. We're also joined by another Florida man in spirit. He may live on the other side of the country, but he's certainly pulling off the look right here. Joe, how are you going, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to getting my Florida Man comic and my Florida Man lunchbox.
Fantastic.
We'll throw a lunch in that for you, Joe.
By the time it gets there, it'll be nice and moldy for you.
Yeah,
We'll get a Big Mac. It'll stay fresh forever.
Big Mac, a little gator tail on the side. Sounds delicious.
Ooh-wee. Fantastic, fantastic. Lord Crackhead likes that mullet that you're rocking. I like how it looks up on the top. It's very Billy Ray Cyrus.
Don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart.
Before we get started, we should say hello to the people who have joined us in the chat today. We've got Jim Cox here, Lama Gigante. Blue Samurai is in the chat today. I don't know why he's not on the panel, but hello, Blue. Black Rose Comics is there. Skip Edwards. Lama Gigante's here. Leroy's in the chat. Fantastic. X-Vicious. Shane Burgess. Run with Caesars is here. I Borrow Ideas. Johnny Rando's here as well. And Lord Crackhead says, hail the fucking chat. Absolutely. Oh, and we've just been joined by Vilned. Says, hey all, how you going? Fantastic. Thank you all so much for coming here. Oh, and Rob's here as well. Hey, Rob. He says, hey, hey. How you going, Rob? Yeah, so this is actually the second time we've had you guys on here to talk Florida Man. So at the start, it would have been, I don't know if it was just after the launch or maybe in the first month or something. Since then, you guys jumped onto Kickstarter as well.
Correct.
And now you, I hear that you guys are going to be, that's coming to an end. And that campaign, and now you're going to be closing off the actual Indiegogo campaign at some point. Is that correct?
Yes, but it's still in demand, which means that anybody can go there and sign up.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can just actually pull that up quickly. Florida Man, there we go. So, yep, 642 backers, fantastic. There you go. There's Florida Man. I remember when we were on here, you guys were educating me on the ways of the Florida Man, because I was woefully ignorant, it turns out. Are you guys aware that there's actually a rivalry going on between Florida Man and Australia Man? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I've seen yeah.
I'm going to share something with you I just found before we started the stream. Where is it? Hang on a sec. Let me find it. There it is. I will stop that for a sec and bring that up. So yeah, this is Australia Man. Maybe in the future there could be a sequel or something. I don't know, where Australia Man comes in and comes over to visit Florida Man. Here we've got Melbourne Man fights off carjacker with a Nescafe Blend 43 jar. I thought that was pretty good. Step
funny.
aside, Florida Man.
Well, she
And-
does fight the cassowary.
Yeah, oh my goodness. She does she? I
Yep.
mean, the cassowary is a beast of a creature. Anyone who isn't aware of what a cassowary is. Cassowary. Hang on, can't spell. It's the world's second heaviest bird. There it is, right there. So it's not as big as an ostrich, but it's thick. It's thick
It's
and
thick. It's
and
got that
it's
crown.
yeah, it's like a dinosaur, and it's got these crazy claws on its feet.
I have to explain that she's fighting a female wrestler who calls herself the cassowary.
I saw that, yeah, but I just wanted to show everyone who wasn't aware that what a cassowary is, because she's an Australian wrestler, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, so she's named after this insane bird.
right.
Do they have venom on their claws?
No.
I don't think so. I'm not sure, actually. I say I don't think so, but I don't
But they
know.
use
Maybe
a
they
really nasty grease on the pompadour.
Yeah, that is a mean looking bird.
I liked notice the word says bloody bin chickens. Terror emus. Oh, Blue's here. Sorry, Blue. I didn't see you there. Welcome, Blue.
Thank you. I was just in the back room getting old.
Have you heard of Australia Man, Blue? And I'm not talking about me.
Oh, not you? No.
No, yeah. So here's another Australian man. Australian meth addict dresses up as a cop and raids another drug user's home. And Florida Man asks, "Are you challenging me?" But I think the ultimate one is perhaps this guy. I think Florida Man, if he isn't doing this already, he needs to get onto it quick smart. I found this one here. Check out this guy drone fishing. And look what beer he's got, Joe.
VB.
That's funny.
Drone fishing.
Wow. I didn't think there were drones big enough.
Neither did I. I had no idea
Yeah.
that you could do this.
Me either.
It looks like many.
Oh my god.
I've seen
Yeah, looks-
octocopters, but none that could carry a human.
Yeah.
Looks safe, huh? Lifting up a bike.
You gotta love the spirit of people trying to have fun, though. You know.
Yeah, yeah. They wouldn't have been able to do this where I live in Australia because the cops would have descended on them with a SWAT team, telling them to get back inside. But look at this! Oh my goodness!
Wow.
What it does to the water?
He doesn't even get yanked up either. It's
No.
nice and slow.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Professor Murphy's here. He says, "I live in Jacksonville, born and raised, so I relate to Florida Man."
So we've
Woodrow
got
here says, "Hey,
we've
Lord."
got Luke, we've got Misfit Corners, which is Andrew. We've got Todd's Truth. All these Florida people.
That's right.
Todd's from Florida as well. I didn't know.
No, I'm not from Florida. I live in.
But
No,
you
Todd's
live
Truth. Someone else
Oh.
in the chat. Sorry.
Oh, I got you.
There you go. Australian Florida Man fishing from his drone chair. Did he catch something? He did. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah,
guessing it wasn't-
definitely.
I'm guessing he didn't catch any common sense.
No, but he had fun. He had fun. He probably got a little drunk. That's I think that's, I'm assuming that's kind of the spirit of Florida Man.
Yeah, the VB would have been worth it for me.
Exactly.
Catching a fish, that'd be a bonus.
So, yeah, guys, you guys are, like I said, I hate it when it does that. You guys are, you've done the campaign. It's coming to an end. Finishing off the production. When are you hoping to go into fulfillment for Florida Man?
January.
Oh, nice. And how would you say the overall experience has been? Is this your first crowdfund, Mike? Or have you done them before?
No. A couple years ago, we crowdfunded Cue Ball, which is a martial arts espionage thriller drawn by Barry McLean. My wife Ann ran that. It was very successful. We only printed the first issue. That's all we crowdfunded, but Barry's finishing up the trade paperback, and we have a deal with a major publisher. I can't announce it yet. It will be released sometime next year. And then more recently, we crowdfunded my Nexus novel, and that was very successful as well.
I also ran that.
Was that
my
on?
wife Ann also ran that.
Thank you, Ann.
For wives.
Thank you, Ann. I'm around here for a copy. I don't have any. I mailed them all out, but I got some downstairs.
Oh, I have one right here.
Oh, hand me one.
Get up.
I have to get up. She's making me
I'm
get
still
up.
my PJs.
She's making me get up. She's in her
Well, you can't
PJs.
expect her to come on in her PJs. There you go.
Right?
Beautiful.
Oh, nice. And isn't there another Nexus book on the Impossible Stars campaign?
Yes, there is. That one's being drawn by Kelsey Shannon. And I have some art from that too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I'll just post it to your Twitter feed here, Mike.
Yep.
I just posted Todd's wedding scene picture. It's everything you said it was and more. And more.
And can we show that?
Yeah, sure. If you can get it
Excellent.
up there. I mean, it's beyond my
I
technical
can.
abilities. I can barely operate this computer.
Yeah, he's gotten it up there at least twice. I'm betting he can do it a third time.
It's not easy, actually, going out of Twitter. Twitter does not make it easy, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to figure it out.
Are you going to disappear on us?
Right. No, I'm not. At least I hope I'm not going to. All right, here we go. I'm going to make a new screen of that. I'm just letting the chat know that I'm not just poking around like an idiot. And then I'm going to share that screen.
Oh, I thought you were narrating what you were doing like little kids do.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Right. Yeah, Todd and I were talking just before we were going live how when you are, an artist who deals in detail, and then on top of that, you're drawing people with real clothing, so you can't just because if you're not an artist, you don't really know this, but drawing superheroes in spandex. You're essentially just drawing naked people. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, than drawing all the clothing, all the different angles, and then on top of that, add in detailed backgrounds. Man, it really adds up in terms of time and effort put into it. So let's check out what Todd's got for us here. This is a wedding scene. So there's the scene there with I could see what you were talking about, the flowers, huh?
Mm-hmm.
How many pages is the book all in all?
64.
Yeah, right. Okay. I feel your pain, Todd.
It's yeah, definitely. It's also mostly comprised of 6-panel pages. And that, there's a lot of thought that goes into how you're going to arrange something, because there might be, in many pages, there's like, this needs to be the money shot, or this needs to be the focal point of the entire page. Every panel has a focal point, but every page also has like, get this across the most. And you're always trying to think of you don't want to repeat yourself. You know, you don't want to repeat a layout or like create a form for all 6 panels. You're always finding ways to do insets and this and that. It's really tricky. It's something.
Yeah, we've got another artist here in the house, Professor Murph, of the book War Party, and he agrees wrinkles and folds are work. Absolutely. And yeah, if you've got 60 pages to do, 64, Mike can write them. That's the and then someone has to go and draw them. I guess that's the benefits of being the writer.
Are the cues usually in the writing for what the focus should be per panel and page?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're there, yeah, but how? Yes, you to rearrange them, right? You know what I mean? Because you're still trying to get all that other information there, so like if that focus is panel 6, then you're really trying to figure out how big to make 6. So
Yeah.
it's there, but the tricky part is comes with all the cerebral stuff.
I guess what I should ask is, all on top of that, do writers understand that make a focus per page concept?
I do.
Oh, sorry, you've been in the industry forever.
Yeah, I remember last time you were here, Mike. You were telling us about all the what would you call them? I guess skills that you've accumulated over the years in terms of making the story work, getting it all to work in the format that we're working in, which is comic books. Making sure that everyone's got a nice character arc and all that kind of stuff. I would assume that when you write a script, you would know what you're doing in terms of letting the artist know.
Whenever I undertake a project like this, I write a detailed outline ahead of time, and the outline's not just for myself, it's for others. The outline has to be punchy and entertaining in and of itself. I want to hand somebody the outline, have them read it, put it down, say, yeah, now where's the book?
Yeah, cool. That's very interesting because I'm writing a script myself actually right now, and it'll be the first time I'm ever going to hand it off to an artist. So usually I'm the writer and the artist, so I just kind of work with myself. I don't have to format everything. So how big is this outline? How detailed does it get?
Well, some of them can get up to 10 pages. This one, and that's single space. And sometimes, and always when I'm writing the books themselves, I deviate from the outline because the character will turn around and tell me what he's going to do. And there's always surprises. And I believe that a writer can't surprise an audience unless he can surprise himself. And every good writer knows that. You'll put something into the book or the outline early on, a character, and you don't know why it's there until you get near the end. And then you suddenly realize that character is the key to the story. The ideal story ending should come as both a complete surprise and a perfectly logical end result of the events that have gone before.
That's a great way to put it, Mike. I've heard you say that before, and for the life of me, I can't think of a better way to put it. And I've had that same view, but I never really tried to articulate it. And then when I heard you say it on another live stream, I thought that was really well said. It's one of those things where you have in your mind what you want to happen and what you think will happen. And if your character is sufficiently fleshed out, then along the way, as you just said, they'll tell you what's going to happen. And I think it's great when you can both kind of unveil that final surprise or reveal that final detail, and the reader is like, oh, yeah, it makes sense, but I didn't see it coming.
And that's part of surprising yourself as a writer.
Mm-hmm.
Did you? I don't know if it's spoilers or you don't want to tell us. Is there anything in this page that we're looking at here that you want to talk about?
Well, we can talk about it a little.
Just a little.
Yeah, this is only in the first half of the book. geez, I don't want to give away too much, but
Yeah, don't do that.
except to say that every story is a dynamic narrative with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And by a dynamic narrative, I mean that Gary's up, he's down, he's up, he's down. You saw in the trailer that he goes from rags to riches to rags to riches.
Yeah.
And it's that journey which fascinates the reader and will make them laugh out loud because it's so outrageous. A lot of it is based on stories I got from Florida man stories, and a lot of it just came out of my own head and the character that Gary became.
I really like the use on this page of there's kind of a contrast going on when you're looking at values, and you've got the heavy darks of the plant life, and then you've got the mostly negative space of the figures. And so I'm just curious, Mike, when you're writing your script, and then Todd, when you're reading it, is there ever a point where, Mike, you are asking for a particular emphasis in some of the fundamentals of visual storytelling, or
well, often, but Todd totally blew me away with this page. It's not what I expected. It's brilliant. It's one of his best pages, and he keeps getting better.
Yeah, I really like it.
You mentioned earlier, Mike, you talked about how it's it's funny as hell. I'm probably not the most learned person in terms of comics. I stopped reading them when I was about 15, but I do remember that there was some funny comics out there when I was reading. But a lot of the stuff now, especially the stuff that I've seen in crowdfunding, doesn't really get into comedy too much. Have you noticed that is there a dearth of funny comics out there at the moment?
Yeah, I think that people tend to gravitate to horror, superheroes, science fiction, genre stuff like that. But since this really began life as something completely different, and my intention was to make people laugh, this is the funniest comic ever written. I guarantee you will burst out laughing multiple times.
That cover really sets the tone for the book. I told Todd before, that's one of the best covers I've ever seen, bar none. Indie, mainstream, doesn't matter. It's one of my favorites.
Thank you. We just got back a cover that was colored. That Mike has a second novel out there, and it's called Hogzilla. But his publisher used this cover and then just got in closer.
Yeah.
And so
cheap son of a bitch.
Yeah. So, I just, like, me and Chris felt like it needs a better cover. And hopefully it gets on there or whatever. So I did one, and it's Gary riding a hog, like in front of a supermarket, one of those boy rides or whatever.
Right.
And I just put it on your Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Excellent.
When it pops, like, it really didn't pop in black and white. Almost like, okay, a lot of artists, synergy between the colorist and the artist, right? You do these great black and whites, but then there's some magic that happens. And Brett's magic with the first cover, Brett R. Smith, is really there. He added a lot. There's things there that weren't really there. Like he threw a vector and then did a gradient with that vector of palm trees and stuff, because I only really drew one palm tree. So it really helps the drawing or the illusion when things are executed in such a way. Now, this cover that I drew and we just got back from the colorist is that same thing. It's executed very well. He added the shadow that Gary has behind him on the glass.
Okay.
And that gives it the depth. So just these things, this is still magic for me, even though I'm in the process of the industry of working in it. When I get something back and I go, oh wow, he just blew me away. We worked on some of the colors and things earlier in the day, only a few changes. I wanted the foreground characters to be a little cooler than Gary was. but he really comes back with something that like blows me away, you know?
Yeah, and I like the use of cooling the colors down in the front so it fades them out a little bit. So the eye is definitely drawn to that hog and Gary, and we're riding the hog. And then, like you say, the shadows from Gary and the hog give you a little bit extra to that background element. So it really does create this 3D effect.
Yeah, that's a lot of depth to the composition.
Right. And when I thought of this composition, I wanted to equal the gator. I wanted to do something like that's a double, like, you know, they talk about Peter Paul Rubens did tri-level paintings. The gator covers a dual level painting or a dual level piece of art where you have the main character and the focal point in the air, and then some just you know, whatever you want to call it at the bottom. I wanted to do the same thing here, but I used, obviously it needed to be kids, and it works. You know, my daughter's in there and everything.
Nice.
She's
happy.
She is happy.
Hey,
she loves it.
Again, educate a ignorant Australian man. What's an iguana bite for $7.49 a pound?
That'd be like giving away something. I don't know if we want to do that.
No, because it's not in the comic; it's in the novel. But at one point, Gary opens up a restaurant he calls the Lizard Lounge, which specializes in grilled iguana. He opens and closes on the same day. You'll have to read the novel to find out why.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Let's jump back. Oh, I just before we go on, I don't want to miss this. You mentioned earlier Nexus, and so this is art by Kelsey Shannon, correct?
Yes.
This looks so cool. This looks very iconic. Everything about it. The logo, the design, the colors, the lighting, very cool.
Richard Meyer, who suggested this, said he wanted a story like The Mandalorian. I had never seen The Mandalorian. I have never seen The Mandalorian, but I had heard it compared to a spaghetti western.
Yep.
So the first issue of this is going to be very much like that.
So it's his concept, you're doing the script, and Kelsey
That's all
Shannon
he said he wanted something like The Mandalorian.
Okay, right. So it's your story then.
Oh yeah, it's a very rich story. It's called Triplets, and it's about 3 children who have perfect telepathic communication, and they can communicate across interstellar distances instantly, which makes them very valuable to currency speculators.
Oh, sounds cool.
And for anybody,
when's that?
Oh, sorry,
forward?
Mike.
Sorry, it's just asking when that's happening, like when it's going live.
Well, it's live now. It's Impossible Stars on Indiegogo.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
Stars.
Yep.
I didn't realize it was the same thing. Oh, cool. I gotta pay more attention to that campaign. I've been slacking on some of those bigger campaigns.
Well, to be fair, he could be doing a little more to promote it.
I'll talk to him about that.
Yeah, I didn't even realize for, I don't know, a couple of weeks at least that Nexus was part of the campaign. And once I found out, I thought, oh, well, let me give this a second look then. And yeah, man, I just backed it recently. And for anybody who's, you're welcome, Mike. Yeah, I'm really
have to take another look at it.
He admitted in a later video that he should have put it out as Nexus and then the other thing throw in.
Yeah,
I did remark on in a comment after the video, the very first video that he did for it, and it said, "Hey, there are a lot more people waiting for more Nexus than they're waiting for something new." Because it's
right,
you know, there's an anticipation. Mike's hinted at it. He's talked about it. There's way more anticipation for let's see some more Nexus, and I think he would have done better to lead with the name Nexus on the front of that campaign.
Yeah, and for people in the chat who might not be aware, the character here you see on the cover is an executioner, and so if you kind of imagine the idea of an executioner in a spaghetti western, let's just say that the possibilities have me excited. And so as soon as I found out that Nexus was part of the campaign, I went over and backed both books.
Yeah, I was
You the
really
man.
on the fence, but I backed it because of Nexus, and then I saw the art. Well, I'd already looked at the artwork, but that's why I was on the fence. And I thought, okay, the artwork in the other book is really good, but when I saw Nexus is on there, that was it. I hope
Thanks,
Richard
guys.
is listening to this.
I'm definitely gonna have to go check this out. I had no idea that this was part of it. Okay, I'm gonna have to go check this out after the stream. Very cool indeed. Let me go back to Florida Man though. So many tabs. God, I wish they would make this easier for us.
We just hit a stretch goal over on Kickstarter today.
Oh yeah, did you?
Oh, what was that?
Yeah, it was the $3,500 stretch goal, which will get us get everyone who backed some stickers.
Nice.
A sticker, and everyone over there will get the exclusive.
That's a card game. That's not yours.
The postcard.
Here we go.
Of Crystal.
And sorry, Mike, I was just going to ask for people who have backed or might be thinking about backing on Indiegogo, where are the after Mike's done showing the Kickstarter campaign, maybe we could take a look at the Indiegogo stretch goals and see what has been locked and what people could get for no additional charge if they were to back the book.
The Indiegogo campaign offers the lunchbox and the towel.
Nice.
Not as a stretch goal, though. He's asking about stretch goals.
I don't know how these things work.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through Kickstarter. I realize I haven't really been onto a Kickstarter project in so long. Where's the stretch goal you're mentioning? Somewhere else, or
yeah, keep going. I think they're on there. Yeah.
Okay. Scrolling.
There'll be a list of. I don't know if he changed it to locked or unlocked yet, but
Did you guys? How did you feel like? Because we've had a bunch of discussions. Here we go. We're down to stretch goals here about whether or not it's worth going on to Kickstarter as well as Indiegogo. Have you guys had a positive experience doing that? Doing both campaigns?
I would say overall, yes. Nobody's given us any flack for it. Is probably what you're more worried about is, oh, you did both, and so we're mad at you. None of that really has happened. But what we did was we met a lot of people's requests. They wanted a digital version. And so over here at Kickstarter, just as many physical copies were sold as a digital. So it worked out,
Yeah, we've this subject has come up a fair bit, especially in Comicsgate circles, a bunch. And we found that there's a good 30 to 40% of people in the circle that I'm in, in my chat or whoever follow me on Twitter, who back projects on Kickstarter and have no problem with people putting their projects on Kickstarter. And I'm just really curious to sort of hear from people who've done it, like yourselves and Billy Tucci, to see what any pros and cons of it are. Because I know for myself, because I do everything. I do the art, the coloring, the lettering, everything. Running the Indiegogo campaign was just, it was a massive thing, and I don't know if I could just kind of transfer it over and and do it all over again. It would do me in, I think.
I'll tell you what, though, one way you got to really look at something like this is more backers. We've gained 84 more backers.
Nice.
So,
yeah,
you know what I mean? That 1,000 backers each time you were to go out will keep you motivated to continue to do them. You know what I mean? We're not here to get rich. Nobody's getting rich off of comics. It'll never happen. But what we're here to do is entertain you. And if we can take the 800 backers that we were lucky to get, make them happy and get back 80% of them, and then have them help you grow back into 800 or 1,000, then you've done your job. It's as simple as that. So you want to sell everyone your product. this idea that there's a scary place over there, or there's some political agenda over there, well, it's gone. And it's a place where you can sell your product, and you want to sell it to as many people as you can, because what you're trying to do is create the ultimate mailing list where now you feel like I'm safe, I'm secure, I can do 2 or 3 of these things a year, and I'll be good.
Yeah, I mean that's the reason why people have brought up to me saying, "Are you going to put the Lucent onto Kickstarter?" Because there are people over there that they don't use Indiegogo, so you could potentially get more backers. And I think you're right that the whole animosity going on between the different platforms is definitely subsiding. I don't know if it has subsided, because I definitely know there's a lot of people in my chat that really loathe Kickstarter. But I've backed books on Kickstarter before. That was a while ago, granted. And it's an interesting conversation. And yeah, I want to keep getting people's opinions. Obviously, you guys are for it. But I'm going to keep asking people this question, because it is a pretty big deal. So let's keep scrolling down. We're back on Indiegogo here because we want to check out those, what's it, beach towels and lunchbox. You got the lunchbox, Joe?
Yep, sure did.
I like it when campaigns have things in them that are very relevant to the actual kind of book that it is.
Yeah,
the lunchbox and the towel.
Yeah, I was inspired. I don't think I've ever told this to Todd, but earlier I was thinking today, I was brainstorming for my upcoming campaign, which will be in 2021. Well, Todd knows this, but there may be some people in the chat who don't. I've got a superhero universe that was inspired by Bronze Age Marvel and DC superhero comics. And one of the things that I'm going to look into to see what it costs to produce is a lunchbox, because in the 70s and 80s, lunchboxes were huge. And that's, right in the era of the Bronze Age. So getting the Florida Man lunchbox got me thinking, maybe I should look into see what the production costs are on those.
I suggested a puzzle once, and everyone shot me down and laughed at me. So I just don't suggest anything anymore. I love this panel here, fighting the bunny, because in my research on Florida Man, because I've continued my research, I didn't just let it drop. I remember seeing there was a Florida Man who got beaten up by someone in a suit.
Mm-hmm.
That's where this came from.
Yeah, it was a good one. I saw one earlier, actually. This one made me laugh. Florida Man breaks into home, cooks breakfast. Yes. The people living there get up. He tells them to go back to sleep.
There's a site called FloridaMan.com if you want to read all the stories, and there are thousands of them.
Yeah, we can maybe towards the end. I pulled up a couple. Maybe we can just have a look at some of them, because God, they're good. I think you definitely hit on something here with this story.
Mike, did I hear you earlier refer to having a novel of this, and that's more expansive than the comic?
How much is the novel? Let me see.
Oh,
actually, there were times you could get it on Kindle for like 99 cents.
Well, that was for the Kindle. The novel's $19.
Huh. Okay. So I've put bloodyredbaron.com in the chat already. And should we look for it on there or elsewhere?
Well, it's on Amazon. If you go to Amazon, just type Mike Baron in, all my novels will pop up, most of them.
Oh, I just found what my wife needs to get me for Christmas.
There's 2 out now, but they both have the same cover. The second one is Hogzilla.
Very cool. There you go. Blue's
and
just
I'm working on a third.
Oh, nice.
And you working on one right now?
Yes, and this is where the guy in the bunny suit shows up.
Revenge of the Bunny Suit.
It's called When Calls the Catfish.
Yeah, very cool. Free samples of Gary's Miracle
Cure-all?
Cure-all. Yeah, right. Of course. I like it. Is that the cure-all there in those what are they?
Stuff that looks like windshield wiper.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Business is booming. Yeah, we're bringing back funny books, y'all. All right, just gonna keep scrolling. Here's the team. And scrolling. Did I miss the I didn't miss the oh, yeah, it's under here. Okay.
I'll tell you what, doing
there it
this
is
type
there.
of book, Mike,
Yeah.
it's been sort of an education in itself. You know what I mean? Because again, you really talked about it not being superheroes, but man, just I don't know how to call it. There's a sense of reality, right? It's without the whatever type of art you're using, but it's a reality setting, almost like a reality show. So people have made reference to like Trailer Park Boys and stuff. So there's a certain point of always having to keep your character, like all your characters are always on the ground, right? They're not in the air, they're not flying, they're not jumping at you. So to keep that interesting from page to page is very, very tricky, because I mean, you think about those guys in the days when they were only drawing romance, Western, and books like that. Those guys were great artists, and I give them a lot more credit today than I did probably growing up and admiring them, because now I know that they didn't get to draw a lot of interesting stuff. They were drawing, they were telling a story. They were making the story flow forward, and continuous, and making it linear with their art. Maybe obviously there's a lot of fighting in sort of cowboy comics or Western comics, but man, it's just a tricky animal.
When I was a kid, looking at the Sunday comic strips in the newspaper, I would read all of the funny stuff, and I didn't realize this until much later, but at the time, I would look at the line work in the little romance comic panels or comic strips. I didn't care about any of the words. But
sure
the line...
you didn't, Joe. Sure you didn't.
But the line work, even though it was, like a romance comic or a romance strip, I should say, the line work was so good. And I used to think, how did these people draw like photos, but they're using ink? I couldn't figure it out as a little kid. And then, of course, much later, when I learned about comic art, I thought, man, those guys, they were really making it look good, regardless of whether or not they were interested in the subject matter.
I think modern comics owe a great deal to Hal Foster and Alex Raymond.
Yes, definitely.
I had the same experience with looking at it but not reading it with, what was it called? Prince Valiant, I think, was the strip.
Hal Foster.
Yep, Hal Foster. He was fantastic.
Yeah. And one of the reasons I couldn't get into it was I was way too young and I had no idea what was already going on. It's not one you get into the middle of.
I don't know if I remember that. I think I just read Peanuts and Garfield. I don't remember seeing these kind of strips. Although I think there was a Spider-Man one. Oh no, there was a Phantom one. It was Phantom. That was what I remember.
Falk.
Exactly. Yeah. I got a bunch of those collected into a book. I always loved reading that. And it was printed on newspaper print too, not even comic print. It was printed on newspaper paper in the book. It was really cool. People are liking the lunchbox. Rick Saylor says that lunchbox looks cool. It definitely does. Who wouldn't want that as a lunchbox? Send your little kid off to school with a Florida Man lunchbox. Are there any secret compartments in the lunchbox for any paraphernalia or?
You have to get the lunchbox to find out.
I'll let you know after I get mine, Mike.
Professor Murph says Tarzan. Yeah. Mo says, I developed my sense of humor entirely from old Garfield strips. Well, thank you. I take that as a huge compliment, actually.
Do you hate
This old
Mondays, Mike?
Garfield were funny. I used to love Mondays because I'd have them off, but now I've got them back on again.
And what's your opinion on lasagna and dogs?
Well, the dogs have an opinion on lasagna.
I don't know about you guys, but my sense of humor was developed on Gary Larson's Far Side.
I loved Far Side.
But they were all, for me, I remember them being on calendars and stuff. You know, you'd go to an office somewhere and they'd be on a calendar that you'd take off one every day.
No thermos, Rick.
Oh, maybe next time. Maybe next time that can be the
That
expanding. Let's take a look at these perks while we've got you here.
Yeah.
We sold one yesterday. And maybe someone out there would want this.
Wrestling Ballet.
Yeah, Wrestling Valet. It's not a one-page shot. You know what I mean? You're going to be part of the wrestling match.
Nice.
Along the, you always see the valet along the mat and stuff. You know, they're on the ground, but the wrestlers are up on the mat. So there's also the fact that maybe the valet pulls a leg on one of the wrestlers and creates a moment of opportunity. So,
Well, Todd, you just gave me a great idea because those pages aren't written yet. They're just 3 pages having to do with the wrestling match, but what happens in that match is going to make your eyes pop out of your skull.
I see you already sold your the ref. So some lucky fan, I suppose, is going to be the referee for the wrestling match.
yeah.
That's very cool. Okay, so here it is, the Wrestling Valet. 1200. What is a Wrestling Valet? Forgive my ignorance again.
The manager.
Oh yes, right, the manager, like Virgil or what's her
Would be
face?
like Mr.
Lady Elizabeth.
Fuji.
Yeah, Mr.
Or,
Fuji. Right.
yeah, Bobby the Brain Heenan or
Yeah.
Jimmy Hart.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So you've got retailer bundles. You've got the Florida Man autographed pack, which includes postcards, print version, digital version, autographed by both of you. Do you guys live near each other? Or is that going to be a hassle to get those all signed up?
No, we're going to meet in the middle of the country.
Nice. Get it done.
Which ain't going to be easy.
There are forces working against us.
Yeah. And Florida Man graphic novel. Now, forgive me. Here we go. 56 pages. So 56 pages, printed version, $25. Fantastic. We had a guy on yesterday. He's actually in the chat here, Professor Murph, and I was like, "Why is your book so cheap?" He was selling it really cheap. Cheap by my standards. He said, that's how much comic books cost. They're like $5 a book. And I was like, yeah, but this is independent comics. We're not printing 50,000 copies here. So I said, man, next time you got to have it, at a more reasonable price. And then since then, we've found other ones that are too expensive. There's one out there for, I think it's like $30 for a 32 page or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I think, getting a bit rich for my blood. But yeah, so we got 25 for the 56 pager, and then a 150. You get the Florida Man Beach Party Bundle, and you'll get a digital version, the novel that we just saw. Is it the one that we just saw with that cover on it there, Mike?
Yeah, but it's just digital.
Okay.
Digital's
It's a novel
digital.
PDF. Right, I see. Yep. Florida Man print version, which is the book, Florida Man t-shirt, lunchbox, your name in there, a beach towel, and 5 postcards for $150. Fantastic. 34 of those claimed. That is awesome. Sounds like you got a lot of diehard fans there. Excellent stuff. Are there any questions here in the chat for our illustrious guests on today? Felix, all he has to say is, sorry for being late. Hal Channel Help Out. Hal Felix, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. Professor Murph just says Route 66.
Oh, he spotted a hotel. Good
Mhm.
All
one.
right.
Good
Yep.
one. Good one. Yeah.
66.
Um,
There was something I looked at earlier as I was scrolling down was this billboard that you've got.
Habib.
Is it Habib?
oh yeah,
Habib
yeah.
Rodriguez.
I'll get you off one way or another.
You don't pay a dime unless we collect.
I like it. I like it. Oh, Professor Murphy's calling me out. Not cheap. Sorry, Professor. Yes, not cheap. Affordable. There is a big difference. You are correct. You are correct indeed, my friend. Yes. But still, you could have charged more. Anyway, it's your campaign. It's your campaign. Where's Route 66? Have I gone past?
Oh, it's I used a iconic hotel that where people actually park their vintage car in front of and take a picture. So
Right.
I grabbed a hotel from Route 66 and put it in Florida. It's the Blue Swallow Motel. It's an iconic hotel where you take a picture.
There's a lot of work, and this is really nice detailing here on the art, Todd.
Thank you.
I can see what you're saying. It's like people, man, I was like, they don't get it, man. Like all these, these clothes and everything. This all has to be, it all has to make sure it's all the right proportions. All the folds are correct. I have failed on that many a time in my journey to being a comic artist. And then it's got to be colored. And there's a lot of work that goes into a book like this.
The word you're looking for when it comes to versus, like clothing versus superheroes is you can fudge muscle, but you can't fudge clothing, because you can either do, like, for instance, you look in superhero books and the guy's wearing a suit. It's just the outline and where the lines are. There's no folds. Nobody, and those guys aren't good at those type of things. It's hard. So, obviously I've always been picked because of these type of things that I'm good at, and I haven't gotten to do superheroes yet, but there's still time.
Your faces are really consistent, which is good, and they're interesting faces. But when you've got these tiers for drawing people in, do you still get nervous about having to do a real face instead of one you're creating? Like, are you past that?
I'm not nervous based on, like, I'll use the reference to do it, but here's what makes you nervous, okay? Because I've been asked to do portraits and stuff like that in my life. Is you, meaning you, only look at yourself two-dimensionally. You cannot see yourself three-dimensionally.
Yes.
Now, if you were to produce a hologram or like one of those things in a globe, you would kind of see yourself three-dimensionally. But you only look at yourself two-dimensionally, so you'll never see what I see, right? It's just a little thing I always tell people. So don't expect I'm capturing your photograph. I'm not trying to capture, you know what I mean? Or I'm capturing you two-dimensionally. So it's tricky. You always see yourself a certain way. You know what I mean? And you look in the mirror, and that's what you see.
Comic talk with.
Go ahead, Mike. I was just gonna say I never thought of it that way, but Todd's right. That's a great way to put it.
I've been asked to do portraits so many times, and I always preface it with, just remember, this is how the artist sees you, not how you see yourself when you look in the mirror. Because you can never see you like we do.
I always see myself how I was 10 years ago, and then I just kind of blur my eyes a little bit when I look at myself. Now, comic talk with Pops Van Sant. I said, ask Mike, are you going to be awake 9 p.m. Eastern for Saturday's show?
Well, I got a show Saturday.
Apparently you do. Maybe he's inviting you. I don't know.
Hi, well, I'm awake now.
Yeah, you're awake now, and it's past 9 p.m., so I guess that's a yes.
It's outrageous.
I know, it seems like a slur there. Runs with Caesar says, my question is for Todd. I said earlier it reminded me of GTA art. Any inspiration, or is that how you've always drawn?
You know what? I mean, I know what you mean, but no, if you look really closely, the GTA guy deals more in solids, the more of the chiaroscuro, if I pronounce that right, style. So he's not feathering, he's not doing that kind of stuff. But I get what you mean. The balance and the weight of the figure, based on, like, if you were to look at it small, still works even when it's blown up, and that's based on how you use your positive and negative. Balance to me is one of the most important things in my art, because I like a sort of 60-40 balance, and because that creates gravity, that creates the weight, and that actually helps you with the depth. So if it works, like they used to say, if it works small, it works big.
Okay.
So are you talking about 60% negative space, 40% blacks?
60% black, 40%.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Antoine's calling me out. It's telling me I could put my money where my mouth is and just pay people more. Pay Professor Murph more. I've already bought it now. I can't go back.
You can buy it again.
You could. But there's other books that also need backing. And then Professor Murph agrees. Yes, pledge for original art. For the people. Comic Talk with Pops Van Zant says it's a 1-year anniversary show.
Congrats, Pops.
Yes, absolutely. Congrats. A year is very nice. And Stephanie Renee says, nice page. Yeah, I mean, all these pages are nice. That's what we were talking about earlier before the show started, that, when you do a book like this, and like he was saying earlier, it is more reality type storytelling. You've got to find ways to keep it interesting, and you've got to keep up the quality the whole way through. You can't skimp on any of these panels, because people are going to notice. That's going to drag them out of the story.
Oh, Todd keeps getting better and better.
I got new tech in it. I didn't realize I was being held back by my older equipment, but yet my pages have actually gotten better in the detail.
What did you get?
I got the XP Pen 22 R Pro.
Mm-hmm. What's that for the people in the chat who don't speak robot?
The screen and everything's laminated like they do with the Wacom.
Yep.
The surface you're drawing on has a little texture and all that. And the only difference between the Cintiq and the purchase I made is some color gamut. It can't reproduce it's like 12% less colors.
Yeah.
And that's the only difference. But the quality of how it's manufactured, this stylus is not a battery operated stylus, is all the same as Cintiq. But that's what you get when you buy from China. They just rip things apart and re-engineer them.
What's that called? I said Professor Murphy is saying a Cintiq as well. Yeah, I've not made that jump yet. I'm still happy with my Intuos 5. It's a large Wacom tablet. It's doing the job for me. But people do keep telling me that it's been a game changer for them.
Yeah, this surface is pretty big. And it has 22 hotkeys. Now that I've purchased it and stuff, I would have been better off. I'm thinking there's a cheaper version where there's hotkeys on one side. I don't need them on both, because I don't hit them. The idea of hotkeys is to keep your hand close to the table, to the surface, and not, be over there hitting them. So you would only need them for one hand, just for future reference for others.
Stefania Renee says he has that tablet as well.
I love it.
I got to bow out, folks.
Yeah, Mike, we are going to actually end the stream there. We're up on the hour, so thank you so much for coming on, both you and Mike. you and Todd. It's always great to talk to you guys. Congratulations on the success of the campaign, and everything that you're doing looks amazing. I'm going to have to go check out this Nexus thing as well. Thank you for staying up late with us. Thank you to the panel. And as always, thank you to the chat, the wonderful chat, the sexiest chat in CG. We will see you tomorrow. All right, guys. Bye.
Thank